are the world's greatest superheroes. Now get ready for the DC Universe to get even bigger and better with the new age of DC heroes. Damage, raging power for an hour. The Silencer, the mother of all assassins. Sideways, teleport into adventure. The Terrifics, a family of heroes. Thrilling new comic books by DC's masterclass of artists. Get them at a comic shop near you.
Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome to DC Fans United. So today I'm gonna be taking a look at the new family of heroes, the Terrifics #1. Now I've done reviews of some of the other DC New Age of Heroes books, including Damage #1 and 2, and The Silencer #1 and 2. So, The Terrifics Issue 1 has art by Ivan Reis, is written by Jeff Lemire, has inks done by Joe Prado, and Marcelo Maiolo did the colors, and Tom Napolitano did the letters. So these are all really great comics pros, and I like work I've seen from them in the past. In particular, Ivan Reis is a really great artist. So we'll go ahead and start off on the first page. Now, I only have one physical copy from the New Age of Heroes books, and that's Damage #1, and it has a fold-out poster. So I believe these first two pages are the fold-out poster, and they show some of the characters that you see in this book. So I thought that was pretty neat, and they're both really well drawn. So we'll go ahead and start off on the first page, and it's kind of interesting because you see this guy who's a Neanderthal caveman type guy, and he's just standing outside. He's a guard. So it's really interesting because a little moth is flying by, and you see him catch it and eat it. So you don't know he's a caveman at the time, but you're like, oh wow. So then one of Mr. Terrific's little orbs shows up that he has, and it opens up, and then we get this big reveal on the next page where it says, I guess that's why they call me Mr. Terrific. So Mr. Terrific gets out of his orb, and I really like the art on this page, by the way. But he gets out and he says, hello, Java, I need to see your boss. So Java's the caveman, and he says, Mr. Stagg is a very busy man. He can only afford a few moments. Frankly, I'm surprised he agreed to meet you at all, Mr. Holt. And then, so Mr. Terrific starts talking, he says, agreed, and he goes off about how Stagg stole technology from him, and then Java says that it was perfectly legal because Mr. Terrific was in a different dimension, so in Dark Knight's metal, while he was gone in the other dimension is when they stole his tech. So they're messing around with it, and we see on the next page that Professor Stagg has actually opened a portal and to the dark dimension, and when we see he had sent Metamorpho through. So we see Metamorpho here, and he is not in good shape. He's all chained up, and he is having a hard time. He's actually changed, because, you know, Metamorpho can change his element. He's changed it to the nth metal so he can survive in there, but then he's kind of lost control of himself too. So Mr. Terrific calls in backup. So this is pretty neat. Plastic Man arrives, and he's just an egg. Like, see this egg with his colors and emblem on it? So the egg arrives, and right then Metamorpho breaks his chains and comes through, and he hits Mr. Terrific, who goes flying. And Mr. Terrific asks Stagg to close the portal, and Stagg says, I can't, I don't know how. So he was messing around with all this technology that he shouldn't have been, that he basically stole, and he doesn't know how to use. So very bad. In any case, Metamorpho gets sucked through along with Mr. Terrific, so they have been sucked through the portal, and the egg that is Plastic Man goes through too. So I really liked Mr. Terrific, but I really liked Plastic Man's character in this issue. He definitely adds some levity and comedy to it. So we see him here. So being in this dimension wakes him up. So he comes out of his egg form, and Mr. Terrific says, Plastic Man, use your power to shield us. So we get this, somewhat comical scene where he grabs them and puts them in his mouth. So then on the next page, we see the inside of Plastic Man, and they're all talking, and they kind of fill in each other on what's been going on. So Metamorpho had agreed to help Stag and got sent through, and now he regrets that. And Plastic Man had apparently been in stasis. He was in that egg form for, I think they say a couple years. Oh, he just says a long time, but it was a very long time. So Plastic Man is upset that they didn't get him out of that form sooner, but he says they didn't. Mr. Terrific says they didn't know how, and that they figured for his own good they'd keep him as he was, and that coming back through the portal is what burdened him back to his normal form. So one of Mr. Terrific's orbs shows up, and he says that it's picking up some sort of a beacon from the landmass below them. So they decide they're going to go down and check it out. I really like the art throughout this. And, this first issue, I thought the writing was very solid, but it's basically, it's a good first issue. It's mostly there to introduce us to the characters, to set up the team. So they land. And we have this kind of funny panel where, well, you can see for yourself, but Plastic Man is like, blah, and spits them out. And they all land and get out. And it looks awesome. They're looking around, and then, because they thought it was a planetoid that they'd landed on, Metamorpho says, I don't think this is a planetoid. And on the next page, then you get this great full splash page, which was a really good reveal. And I didn't have this spoiled for me, so I didn't know. But when I turned the page, I was like, oh, wow. So they're apparently on the body, dead body of this giant creature who's just floating in space. So it'd be interesting to see if there's more behind that we'll hear about. So yeah, you see it from Plastic Man's point of view. And then they start getting swarmed by all these little crab-like creatures, and they're starting to panic. They're getting overrun by them. And then off panel we see a speech bubble that says, hey, stop that. And we see Phantom Girl. It's her big reveal. So she's pretty awesome. She's part of the Legion of Superheroes, and she got trapped on this, big creature, and she's just been living there. And she's in her intangible form and can't change back, and that's how she's been surviving there. So she meets up with them, and she's really happy to have some actual people there, and they all team up and decide to go check out the signal that Mr. Terrific had picked up initially. So they get there, and we get this big reveal, which is really great, and it's the final page. So they get to where the signal was coming from, and it's an old recording, and it plays and says, my name is Tom Strong. If you're seeing this recording, it means I am probably dead, and that means it is up to you to save the universe. So that's really cool. This is like perfect first issue. You introduce all the characters, and then you set up something big that's going to happen in the next issue. I really liked it. It's been universally just, I've heard nothing but positive reviews about this issue. And yeah, I thought it was really cool. I liked it a lot, and I can't wait to see issue number 2 when it comes out. Alright, guess that's all for now. I highly recommend this book, and if you want to check out some of my other video reviews, I'll have links to them in the description box. Thanks for watching, and as always, thank you for being a part of DC Fans United.
End of line.